Every time I try to avoid making a video trying to refute what Gabriel, Romani or Milan says, they say something worse. Now they seem to have formed an alliance to defend the idea that women with sexual histories should be regarded and treated the same as virgins, and they are doing so by making some really insidious and dishonest equivalencies. First of all, both Milan and Gabriel put divorcees and widows in the same category as zanias just because they all have a history of sexual experience, and they think that no one is going to notice this devious sleight of hand. A divorcee and a widow have a history of sexual experience, yes, but not immorality. A zania got her experience from immorality. Big difference. For the widow and divorcee, there is halal experience, not sin. For the zania, there's only sin. And don't talk about forgiveness. That's a red herring. A revert who had zina before coming to Islam is immediately forgiven for her whole past. But that doesn't mean that tawbah has been placed in her heart for it. And Milan clearly does not regret her past because she is constantly insisting on how valuable her history of zina is because it has made her good in bed. And she lashes out at anyone who regards zanias negatively. It's offensive. Romani took things even further in his debate with Mahdi Tidjani about red pill theory by suggesting that the best generation of men and women, the Sahabah and Sahabiyat, led promiscuous, deviant lives before coming to Islam, and therefore we should not judge deviance harshly.
And we look at the Sahaba and the Sahabiyat, all of them had some past, man. And when they embraced Islam, did they look at each other? And they knew each other, my brother. They used to see each other making tawaf naked. They used to see some of the women of Mecca, and I'm sure brothers with the seat of the Prophet ﷺ. In Jahiliyyah, they would make tawaf naked. In Jahiliyyah, they would stand at the door with the door open, which would allow a man to come in, have sex with her. Not just a man, more than one man. And then when finally she gets pregnant, she would call one and she would say, "You are the father." And the culture would accept it.
This is outrageous. In trying to soften the Shar'i view on zina, they are willing to drag down the reputations of the Sahabiyat and even potentially the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, suggesting that the worst practices of Jahiliyyah were committed by them before conversion.
And we look at the Sahaba and the Sahabiyat, all of them had some past, man. In Jahiliyyah, they would make tawaf naked. They would stand at the door with the door open, which would allow a man to come in, have sex with her. Not just a man, more than one man.
The practice he was referring to was done by prostitutes, not by respectable women of Mecca. As for the people making tawaf naked, they were neither the Quraysh nor from Mecca. They were people outside from Mecca who came to make the pilgrimage, but people from outside from Mecca were only allowed to make the tawaf with clothes provided by the Quraysh. And so, if they did not have any connections with the Quraysh, they would not be provided with any clothes, and so they had to perform their tawaf naked. They tried to console themselves by saying that they were being one with nature. But the real reason is the Quraysh would not give them clothes, and they could not perform tawaf in their own clothes. Look, zina is haram. It is a major sin, and it has a severe punishment in the hudud. So don't go around telling people to take it easy on zanias and pretend that they have the same value as virgins. That is disgusting. Do men prefer to marry virgins? Of course they do, and they're right to prefer this, and Rasulullah recommended it too. Not a thing wrong with it. But do men marry divorcees and widows? Of course they do. The Prophet did, and the Muslims do, and that is not going to stop. But they do not have the same status as virgins. Full stop. Are they even allowed to marry zanias? No. That is prohibited. And tawbah does not change that unless the zina happened before Islam. But like I said, you need to find out if she even regrets the zina in her past before you can even consider her appropriate for marriage. These two people are a fitna, honestly, and it figures that they would team up. And that is today's note from the future's past. Until next time.